Hey, I apologize, everybody. Welcome, Centerline Systems, our Thursday night live stream. I was writing notes, and then I just looked over, and the little thing was saying, time to go live. I apologize if you had to wait. That was totally on me. Whomever you are, wherever you are on this big blue marble of planet we call Earth, that's when I'm supposed to do that drum roll. Mark, Centerline Systems, welcome to our Thursday live stream. First live stream of 2025. Yay. Do your insert explosion confetti things right there. Yeah, first live stream of 2025. Kind of going to do I thought about this. I was going to, because look, let's just be honest, with Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's Day, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's just busy and just even like how many people are even at work tomorrow, let alone today. Yeah, so just going to kind of wrap up today. Instead of doing a product video, and I'll circle back around to that, we're just going to end it up on kind of a year in review. I hope you guys leave some great comments in the chat, because I'm going to be reading all that as always. And, anybody can add into what they want. The theme I chose for this is the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we'll see if I can kind of pull that off sequentially, because, here's the reason I did that. Look, I don't care what your thoughts are on Corona. You do you, right? But I'm on the record way back in the day saying, hey, this is either going to make some people good people better, or it's going to make some people's, the in-betweens, a lot of them are going to become bad, mean people, and the bad, mean people are going to be evil. So to me, that has reached an unbelievable level in society today. That's why I'm calling it the ugly, right? So the bad, that stuff we can stomach and we can laugh about, and, maybe we can course correct and whatever, but there's just some ugly shit going on out there. And I just talked to a really good human being just minutes ago, maybe another reason why I was doing my notes a little bit late. And I'm just going to start it off with what she just said, because I'm going to bring this in. I don't need to carry your voices. I don't need, like the ugly voices out there. Those, I like to say, rocks in a rucksack. I'm not putting those rocks, your voice, in my rucksack 2025. So it's not really a resolution video, but it's just a year in review. All right. So as always, let's kind of, wow, it looks like there's a ton of chats already going on here. All right, everybody. Maybe you're not working tomorrow and you guys are already having adult, beverage, adult cocktail. So we had Gene, who was definitely trying to secure the pole position for the chat tonight. Yeehaw, woo! But he must have been waiting. I think the moment I set up the live stream, Gene, you are awesome. Oh, by the way, I need to send you an email. No one ever reached out about some other stuff. You know what I'm talking about. That's between me and you. I'll reach out to you and kind of cover that. Ground fog with a big, clappy emoji thingy. Learn me something. Good evening and welcome back. By the way, good. Learn me something. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. God bless. I probably need to do all new videos, but we have that CLS GEAR chat over on Telegram, and Learn Me Something just did another video and posted that up over there for the Christmas holiday spirit, how to make a hot toddy. And that's not, and I'm here to tell you, I'd never make a hot toddy the way he did. And winters here in northern Minnesota, I will definitely be doing his recipe because it looked pretty yum, delicious. So thank you very much over there on the chat. Learn Me Something. Dan is coming in saying, hey, guys. And then another, hey, guys. Guess he wanted to get that in twice. Hi, Dan. And Dan's over in the chat. He knows what we're talking about. So here's to you as well there, sir. We've got Red Dirt Solace. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before, but welcome, sir or ma'am. And you've got us 5x5. All right, Roger Dodger. We got you 5x5 too. Welcome to the Thursday chat, or the Thursday live stream, excuse me. Dan's got his lickies and chewies ready. I hope they are the adult type of lickies and chewies, Dan. Dang it, Gene. All right. Gene just said, you guys can read it, but in case you're just listening, the good CLS, the bad Biden. Oh, the good CLS, the bad Biden, the ugly Harris. Way to go, Gene. But as you notice from the thumbnail, I had to put myself on Eli Wallach's face. I'm going to probably watch that movie again tonight. Eli Wallach, just, I don't know, classic, just such a good bad guy, and just, I don't know, just perfect for so many parts. And if you've watched Sicario, the first Sicario, leave me a comment. I'm pretty sure I'm correct here, but there's a scene where the CIA guy has a bunch, him and what's his name? Del Toro. They go to the Greyhound thing. There's all the people that just got caught coming across the border. They do, basically a battlefield interrogation, kind of tactical questioning type of thing. He's kind of narrowing down on who he potentially wants as a potential source, who's got placement and access to the information he wants. I mean, pretty standard spycraft shit. So I kind of like that scene. But then later they're in a hotel room, and I like that scene as well, because I did exactly that kind of shit overseas a bunch of times. And some of my Marine Corps buddies, helped make that a reality. So definitely appreciate the United States Marine Corps for that. But I'm pretty sure that's Eli Wallach, who's one of the guys in the room who are given all the information as the main character, or whatever his name is. But he's basically got all those grid reference graphics, or those plotter, graphics of the terrain up on a wall in the hotel room so everybody can see it. And then they're all on the phone. So great scene, great movie. Eli Wallach. That's why I want to do it. I think he's a great actor. I've really liked him. Here we go. Benicio del Toro. Yeah, that's what it was. I'm not a really good Hollywood guy, unless it's kind of some of the old school ones, but thanks for that. Learn me something. And the hot toddy is much better and more effective with fresh ginger. Oh, well then, winter, we've got a long winter. Maybe there's a part 2, a follow-up video over in that. And then, Benicio del Toro. All right. I think we're kind of caught up. Hey, this live stream, chat away. I'm going to be coming back to comments, because I'm really just going to try to have some fun for 30 minutes to an hour. Yeah. When has there ever been a short video over here? Let me get rambling. And I'm here to tell you, I could easily ramble today. Thank God 2024 is over. So again, they're just kind of getting into the theme. I mean, the good, the bad, the ugly. I think it was a couple of years ago, I was saying, 2022 can suck it. Yeah, well, move over 2022. 2024. I hope it is. I seriously mean this. I mean this. I hope it was not the same for you boys and girls, whether you're with us live or watching on demand. I hope you had an awesome kick-ass 2024. Me personally, on personal levels and business levels, yeah, no bueno, not so good, not so cool. But we'll get into that. We'll talk about it. But yeah, I'm ready for, I hope, a much better 2025. And then on that note, the last little bit of fluff before we get into the good, the bad, and the ugly, aka housekeeping, aka the fluff. Tomorrow night, our Cialis After Dark. We got P. Rick and Redbeard coming on, and we're going to talk, and we're just going to ask the question, why are we still in NATO? And then just have a fun conversation, just kind of picking that whole thing apart. If you watched Redbeard and myself when we did the Mission Critical podcast, we actually talked about this. That was a 2-part episode we did over there, a 2-part series. And it's just a great conversation. And I think it's something a lot of people just don't consider for whatever reasons, but I think it's legit, especially now where we are, over the last couple of years, 2024 in particular too, and where we're going already in 2025. And whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. There's a new administration coming in. They're going to be in charge. They're going to have their agenda, and we'll see what happens. So tomorrow night should be a fun Cialis After Dark. Sitting and talking about NATO with 2 very intelligent and just and fun guys. So, all right. Now before I move on, I do have to say this. Gene is saying, how long will the Cialis After Dark be tomorrow? I only have enough Jim Beam for 3 hours. Gene, I'm not even sure anymore. Even the last one, I was like, okay, we can't do a 4-hour podcast. This isn't Joe Rogan live, JRE, powerful JRE. And we still end up doing like a 3-hour podcast. I have to do better. I owe everybody that. That's part of my bad. Well, here, I'll just get kind of jumping ahead. One of my bads for this year was time management on these live streams. I'm a loser. It's Friday night. It's fun, and the next thing you know, and if everybody's watching and people want to keep talking, we're not trying to be, no offense, Joe Rogan, like you got your thing, we look at it. I'm just having a little bit fun, and we're just talking, and yeah, You probably need to go out and figure out how you're going to get some more Jim Beam then tomorrow, Gene. But we're going to start trying to keep those at 2 hours for the Friday night. I think that's just fair, you know. But then again, you know, you could always just like drink all of your Jim Beam, pass out, and then try to have a little placeholder where you passed out and then come back and watch the rest of it the next day. I'm just saying, Gene saying it's good fun. Need more people watching. Gene, that's part of my ugly stuff right there, which is internet censorship. We'll get into that. So on that note, actually, you know what? I'm going to kind of just jump ahead a little bit here. You know, my prerogative. I can do it. Give me a sec. So something, I'm going to jump back and forth on the good, the bads, and the ugly. I don't want to start off with all good and then end it on an ugly, because my main good for 2024, I think, is where I want to end it. But one thing I'll say, so this wasn't a bad, and I think it was a good. I don't know how well it worked for you guys, the customers, you know, what you wanted, but the next business day. So trying to solve the problem of not getting yelled at, you know, for, you know, by people who waited until the last second to buy custom gear for Christmas. So we created that next business day slot to try to, you know, to try to accommodate people and alleviate some of that. And it went okay. It didn't go as, you know, well, because we're a custom shop. I think more people really just want the custom. So on that note, I don't think we're going to do the next business day. Maybe we'll bring it back next Christmas. Maybe, you know, people, maybe ScrewTube will let more than 70 people see this video, and maybe we'll get some comments that, no, I really want the next business day. Keep it there. Maybe, you know, change your colors or your patterns or something. You know, I don't know, but so it was okay. And I think the people who, you know, like, hey, I need that now. I mean, like, I had a couple people from out east, you know, the kind of the hurricane and all that kind of stuff. So they needed it, you know, more immediately. Other people were taking other types of trips and they needed it more immediately. And I know for a fact that there were a bunch of people who kind of dropped the ball on that whole Christmas present. You know, Santa probably gave them a lump of coal, but then they made up for it and they did the next business day. So it went okay, but I just don't know if I didn't, and this is the bad, part of the bad for 2024. You know, I don't know if I did a good enough job of communicating that, of letting everybody know that that service was there. I'm not going to lie, when I get into the social media on the ugly, there probably was, you know, a tit for tat. You know, I'm getting so beat up over here. It begs the question of why do you do it, you know, here? You know, again, I know there's people who think, you know, that online people are whining when they say this, but look, I'm not trying to be a YouTuber. This is a mechanism for me to reach customers. That's how I view it. Likes and thumbs up, that stuff is good. You need to have, you know, reach. You need to reach more customers. But I'm less concerned about, oh, I've got 1 million subs. I'm going to have 100,000 subs and 1 million people see the video. And, you know, 100 of them, you know, decide to stick around and buy a product. That's what I'm more concerned about. I know, selfish, crazy. But as a result, you know, like this year getting so beat down, you know, again, that's kind of the ugly jumping back and forth. That kind of really screwed, and it really took a personal toll on, you know, the social media. I enjoy the Thursday and I enjoy the Friday because, you know, I get to read the chat and, you know, we're all right here talking, you know, in, you know, kind of real time talking. But I didn't do very good. Seriously, probably the last, you know, at least the last quarter, fourth quarter of the year. It just was getting so frustrating. And then you're just trying to get everything done and keep as many people happy for Christmas orders as possible. But no excuse. That's something that I have to do better going forward, and I'll find other ways to do that. And so again, what I was really trying to say is maybe I didn't do a good job of communicating or letting people know about the next business day or how it worked, possibly, but it went okay. So, but here's what I'm going to do. Now, see, long-winded way to come all the way back full circle. So we did a final, you know, kind of re-up of the next business day stuff, you know, what was that? 2 weeks, 3 weeks before Christmas. And I'm going to take what's remaining of those products. There's my little inventory sheet. Just did it a few minutes ago. I'm going to take the rest of those products, and then I'm going to probably pull the next business day. Yeah, I'm going to pull the next business day off of the website on Sunday. I'm going to do a standalone video covering what I'm about to say here in the middle of the live stream. I'm going to do a standalone video on Sunday, but here's I've never tried this before, so it's going to give me a chance for me as a business to try something else. I'm going to take what I have left in inventory from our last re-up on the next business days. I'm going to pull that off of the website. And for anyone who's interested, I'm going to do bundles. I've never done a bundle before. So I'm just going to throw it out there and see, because I kind of want to have the experience to see if that's what people like. So for example, here we go. For example, I'm going to probably do, and if you aren't familiar with our next business day, I had 4 colors. Well, that's not 4 colors, 4 colors. And, but they weren't custom, right? So no herb loops, it was regular loops on the shoulder strap, no custom thread, all Chuck Norris or all this or all that. So I'm going to take the mother padded strap wrap and mud flap. And then again, I've got a list of what I could do, how many of those I currently have. And that's going to be a bundle. I'll also do a scout and a padded strap wrap. That would be a bundle. And then the folding stop pouch, big boy folding stop pouch. It's kind of weird to do 2 folding stop pouches as a bundle. So maybe they just get tucked in, or maybe they're a bundle. But all I'm trying to say is if somebody's interested, and again, I'll do a standalone video on this on Sunday. I'm going to take all the remaining next business day products, take them off the website. And then if somebody's interested in bundling those things, they'll have to give me a phone call, shoot me an email. And then I'm going to do whether we do rock, paper, scissors, or like a roll the dice or whatever. And then we'll just come up with a price, hey, that normally, I'm just making this up. Okay. That normally would be $200. I'll give it to you for $175 with shipping. You just save $40, something like that. I don't know. Again, don't quote me on that. That was just me verbally vomiting, pulling it out of my 4th point of contact. So anyway, well, actually leave a comment here. I just saw a comment just saying that I got to put that up, but leave a comment. Tell me what you think in the chat, or if you're watching it on demand, let me think as well. And then now, Dan, that's going to be your drinking game for CLS After Dark. I'm going to introduce that as a drinking game for CLS After Dark. Drink every time I comb my beard. I like it. I like it. See, that's part of the good that I want to end on, is all of you good, crazy, boys and girls. Cause that was pretty fucking funny. Honestly, I like it. And then Learn Me Something agrees. He's got a couple Frosties right there. And then Learn Me Something said he thinks the bundles are a good idea. All right. So yeah, again, whether you're here in the chat, or if you want to wait until this comes out, or if you're watching on demand, leave a comment, because, well, that's what I'm going to do, unless I get a bunch of people saying, Mark, well, hold on, that's a horrible idea, don't do it. And again, and that goes into part of the good I'll end on, is you guys and gals. I mean it very seriously. Like, it's been a shitty year on so many other aspects, but it's been a great year. Even if there's only 20 of you guys watching, or 70 people who see the video, it's been great. And you can tell, I mean, I definitely have had some trolls and some people, like, earlier this year when I was doing the rucksack videos, when I finally was just getting over my hip surgery, we're making the ruck. It was amazing. I'm not trying to be that Scroggins guy. You don't want to see my naked, just blazing white, blinding skin anyway. I'm only one of 3 colors: red, white, or peeling. That's all I am. No one wants to see that shit, but it would be amazing, kind of part of the bad. I'm just going to jump around on this, but it was amazing how many people would take the time to watch that video and then downvote it. Well, then don't watch the video. And what is it that you didn't like? That I was out there trying to improve myself, that I was working through an injury and trying to get back into, into shape, or losing weight, or like, if you don't like it because it's me or my product, then why are you even watching it? So that's part of, like, also the ugly of what happened to people in 2024. And I kind of already alluded to it, I really do think, hey, Dan, does this count if I use my hand on my beard, or is it only with the comb? I want to know if you just took a shot when I just did that. But I don't know if that was part of, the whole Corona thing too. If just like, there's always been keyboard warriors, but did it just get worse because of that? I mean, like, why? If you don't like it, why watch it? Like, and if you don't like it, why would you take the time to comment? Like, oh, I don't like it, but I don't want to tell you why I don't like it. So in other words, I don't want you to have some positive criticism and, and constructive criticism so you can fix this and make it better. I just want to criticize or tell you that it sucks. Then don't watch it. I mean, like, come on, man. Geez, no one's forcing you. All right, we had a couple more comments. Gene saying bundles give a great insight into your gear and then order custom later on and gift the. Yeah, I know. I would agree with that. Yeah, get some of the bundles for whatever we put together. So again, the remaining colors that I have for good point, Gene. See, this is where I have to get better. I should have mentioned all this. So I've got black, the awesome Nemesis camo, Ranger Green, Coyote Brown, and multicam classic. And our next business day stuff was the Mother, padded strap wrap, mud flap, Scout, the folding saw pouch, and the Big Boy folding saw pouch. So those will be the bundles if that's something that people are interested in. And again, I'll do a standalone video. But yeah, great point, Gene, and thanks for that. Because then oh my God, and that'll be part of the good. Here, I'll just kind of do it right there. I'm gonna leave Gene up as my placeholder. So here's one of the good this year, and and somebody else would have maybe thought it was bad. I thought it was good. I had a customer call me up and, look, there's a lot of companies out there that never answer the phone. They never try to answer your questions. If you've ever ordered from me and if you were a first-time customer, that's not how I roll. I talk to everybody. I'm calling everybody. I'm going through this process. And, because it's as unique as your fingerprint. It's custom. I want to make sure we get it right. Matter of fact, and next week when we do our loadout live, it's going to be on the Everyday Organizer. And I'll tell a story of the customer I just spoke to about that today. And it'll make more sense when I cover the EDOs. But like, that's how you do grow, feedback and comments and then answering questions and just human communication, right? Just standard human communication. And it's just kind of getting a little weird, because so many other businesses don't do that. And, but then given to your point, Gene, what I'm saying is you've heard, if you're another customer, you've heard me say that too. It's like, hey, and if it doesn't work out, I mean, this is custom. You can't just, use it for a month and give it back to me. But when you get it, you might want to gift it. And then back to this customer I was just talking about, I'd spent a lot of time talking to this person is what I was really ultimately trying to get at. If you didn't pick that up already, I'd spent a lot of time on the phone talking, but that's what I'm here for. Right. So I don't want that to sound negative. And then once the person got their gear, they called me up and we were having a conversation. And part of that was like, oh my God, even the material you use is like, way better. And no offense to that customer. We don't know what we don't know. And my thought was just simply, that's because most of the stuff you've purchased, even from other American made companies, it's not really made. It's, foreign sourced, assembled America. But you're buying cheap ass material. I'm only using, no joke, mil spec, Berry compliant, made in America, Kadura, Velcro, the real deal. And, and it just surprises me, but we don't know what we don't know. And that kind of also brings back into my crazy brain talking about, I have to do a much better job this year. That's part of the bad. I didn't do a very good job of marketing or letting people know how we work. But, you can't sell that in a picture. I've got to find another way of letting people know. Yeah, it does feel better. Or it does look better because it is better, and it feels different because it is different. I mean, it's no shit Kadura brand Kadura. It's not some cheap ripoff that doesn't have the proper coatings on it or any of that stuff. No, it's none of that. These are real Cobra buckles, or these are real ITW neck. Even the plastic spring. I'm like, yeah, because they're not cheap ass made in China. Who gives a shit if you live or die? Because it breaks on you the first time you're in the woods. Yeah. So that's another good. We're not changing any of that going forward. And I've had some people say, well, Mark, maybe you want to change your business model. And like, no, stop talking. We are not doing that. We're never going to do that. AVV. Oh, okay. Now he's talking about the drinking game. That game will get rough the later the stream goes. I noticed Mark Combs, the more he's drinking. AVV, I'm not sure if it's how much I'm drinking or if how engaged or if I'm nervous. I don't know. I'm trying to keep it mysterious. So, but I think we're going to introduce that as a drinking game tomorrow. See, another part of the good. What happened good in well, I guess that's technically 2025. We created our first ever drinking game, CLS After Dark. I like it. But AVV ain't wrong. I might actually comb my beard the more I'm sitting back having a drink. That is possible. He could be correct. Dan, it's got to be the comb. Okay. Well, okay. But now, Dan, Paul says petting your beard like I just did, that's the equivalent of combing. So I'll let you guys in the chat figure out what the rules are. Is it the switchblade comb or any comb? I actually do have a brush that I like using too. Or is it if I just touch it and pet it, does that constitute combing? I'll let you guys figure that out. Gene, trolls are asshats. Yeah, roger that. Jealous because those turds don't have the motivation to get off their couches. See, you know, I hate to say it, learn me some. Just before I go on, like, what are your thoughts? I think that actually is part of it, you know. I'm not gonna lie. I talked to Jack from Black Scout Survival. I consider him a great friend. We do business with each other. You know, we haven't talked as much recently as we kind of normally do. Just life is just what it is, and it's busy. But you know, like, I mean, Jack is definitely one of those guys where, and if he calls me up or, you know, if he's got something to talk about, you know, I'm going to take the time and listen, right? He's a great guy, great friend, and great person to do business with. And I think it's worse over, and I don't want to speak for him or anybody else, but, you know, again, I'm a little company. You know, I watch his videos and I see some of the things that get said in the chat over there. And so, yeah, I don't know, learn me something. Are they just jealous? They don't get motivated? I've noticed that in the We're Patriot community, and that's why I bring up Jack. You know, there's just like people say stupid stuff in the chat. And then if you watched our live stream from last week, again, you know, new year, new rules. I mean, like, that was the first time. I don't know who that person in the chat was. I didn't want to take it the wrong way, but like, you know, but we're not going to let that happen going forward. You know, like right now my chats are small, you know, I don't have any moderators or any of that. Jack's, he's got huge chats. You can't keep up with that, but you see some of the crap that's going on. So, you know, whether it's trolls, whether it's people who are just really mad at themselves, I don't know what the answer is there. Learn me something, but yeah, it's just sad. I mean, and I think that got worse over the last couple of years. I really saw it a lot here in 2024, but, and then AVV commenting maybe on the same thing. Funny how people behind a screen are so fast to insult someone bettering themselves. You know, they won't get their ass. You and Learn Me Something just said the same thing and put in the work. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, like, again, wrapping it up the year, you know, it's not really the weekend, you know, New Year's Eve was just the other night, you know, treat this live stream how you want to treat it. But, you know, but curious, you know, and thanks for giving your comments. But, and, you know, I don't know if you guys are seeing it the same way, if that's just, you know, if you're saying that in response to the question. I'm not saying you're kissing up. I don't mean it that way, but, you know, are you guys seeing it has it been so noticeable that you actually think about it and talk about it to other friends? So not even a customer, just the other day, I'm driving an errand. I live out in the country. It's not like it's bumper to bumper traffic, right? There's side roads. I'm on this really long road, and it's a main north-south road. Somebody comes from one of the side roads, they see me and they pull out right in front of me. It's a 55-mile-an-hour road. So, you know, people are going between 55 and 60, 65. Pulled out right in front of me. I literally had to get on the brakes. And then I just did this with my hands, and the guy reached out his window and gave me the middle finger. I'm like, you're right. It's your world. I'm just driving in it. You know, you could have just caused an accident. If I had been snoozing and looking at my phone or something else, or if looking at a deer on the side of the road, I would have rear-ended you. And if you were driving a Ford Pinto back in the day, it would have exploded. You know, like, I don't know, man. You guys chime in if you want, but yeah. Oh, hey, Questview's doing something for a bundle. 2 Cobra buckles, $50, just the buckles. Well, and then he says that's for the small ones. That's for the 1-inchers. I was going to say, that's a pretty damn good price if you, the person, you know, the individual, if you can get 2 1.5-inch buckles. And I get just so you know, I mean, there's 2 different versions. And when we first started, myself and one other company were the only companies that were getting the stretch version. Now I think the stretch version is very popular, and that's what you can find more often than not. And that's the male portion of the buckle where the tri-glide is, where your webbing's going to weave through. The standard buckle, you know, whatever it is, 37 millimeter. And then there's the stretch, they call it, which is a little bit like, a few millimeters, larger. But that allows, double layers of webbing to go through it a lot easier. So that's what I use. And I'm here to tell you, if you could get 2 of those 1.5 inch stretch for $50, jump on that all day, because you're basically getting them at, and that's not including my shipping and stuff, but that's my price. And I've got minimum order quantities I have to fulfill, so yeah, if you can get that. I don't know if you're saying, Questviews, if I should buy buckles and then just offer them on the website. I mean, because I've thought about doing that too. I just, obviously I can't sell them at, my wholesale price, but they're going to give you, here's what we recommend, or here's what we want you to sell them at if you're selling them retail. So, but I've thought about that, but I'm here to tell you, it's a lot of friggin' money for a small business. So that's kind of the bad thing of last year. Inflation, everything else, I'll kind of announce it, here somewhere through the course of the night. But yeah, prices are going up at probably Monday of next week, Sunday or Monday, prices are going up. I haven't raised my prices since 2022. Inflation's really been going on since about 2021, but it really started kicking in 2022. I was going to raise my prices near the end of 23. I kind of put it off for Christmas. If you've been watching the podcast, earlier this year, I said I was going to raise my prices in summer. And I just said 2 tears in a bucket. Fuck it. We'll just take it all the way through, take it on the chin, see how well I can do with Mike Tyson in the ring. And, but prices have to go up. And so on that, I thought about it, but that's just a lot of money for a small business to have sitting on a shelf. I mean, because you're literally paying thousands of dollars for 100 buckles, or thousands of dollars for 50 or 100 yards of Kadura. That's a lot of money just to be sitting on a shelf. And that's, I might have to figure that out this year going forward too. I mean, like, if things don't turn around. But okay, yeah. So Questview, I don't know if that answered your question, but I've thought about it. I've thought about doing drink. Mark combed his beard. You got to have a drink. You do you. If we're going to play that game, I'm only going to do a sip. Matter of fact, I'm not going to play that game tonight. I'll play it tomorrow. Patrick and Redbeard will definitely dominate the conversation. Those guys are going to have fun tomorrow. But anyway, I thought about doing that to include the same thing with plastics, Questviews. We'll think. Learn me something, giving AVV a big thumbs up on his last comment. Yeah, there you go, AVV. Minnesota nice isn't a thing anymore. I don't believe it really was. I've always thought it was fake, but yeah, people are getting worse. Paul, I had the same thing happen to me 2 days ago. The a-hole must be heading south. Just saying, if you're Questviews, if you're getting the good materials, you got to pay for them. No way around it. I mean, yeah, that's just it. I mean, and I don't know. And, again, watching it on demand or here in the chat, leave me comments on that. One of the, again, kind of getting into one of the great things of this year is just the interaction that I have. And I think that I've been able to establish with, so many of you great guys and gals. And then I think more and more of the people that we're reaching out to for customers are you guys, right? Like, you're not bullshitters, and you're common sense and down to earth, and let's have a conversation. And I really like that. I really do. So yeah, and I think most people get that. I really do. But big but, there's a lot of the Patriots. Oh, this is all clickbait. You're like, what? Because I make stuff. I can't mention my products in my own video. Like, the fuck are you talking about? Dan, all he said was the folding saw pouch. Dan, give us a little bit more. It's not enough to go on. Not sure what that means. Or what I was talking about, bundles. Yeah, I was going to do the folding saw and the big boy. I'm not sure if that's what you're referencing. Learn me something. Unfortunately, people have become exponentially more selfish after the world decided to shut down due to COVID. Yep. And the fact that we can't say COVID in a video without getting censored or whatever, that should tell you something too. That's going to be part of my ugly, is censorship, and how we as Americans have allowed this to happen. That is, fuck, honestly, I should have just started a trend. Should all be wearing a black armband, just in hanging our heads in shame for what we've who we've allowed ourselves to become and what we've allowed to have to happen in our society over these last, whether you want to call it 4 years, 8 years, however freaking far back you want to go. We just had a woman burned to death in a subway and no one did anything to fucking help her. We should be wearing a black armband of shame for that. So yeah, you're right. But yeah, we can't say COVID. No bullshit. We should be able to say COVID. That never should have been allowed to have happened anywhere. Okay, Dan's saying it's the gateway drug. That's how he started. It is a gateway drug. The folding stop pouch, one of my favorites. That was I like that. And so here, I'm going to jump around. So I already mentioned we're going to do bundles. I've got a whole lot more of good things I want to talk about. But let me go into bad, and I'm going to go into gear flops. Gear products that we came up with in 2024 that went absolutely nowhere. Unlike what Dan just said, they did not turn into the gateway drug for new customers. And I don't know why. So I'm going to start off with the tiny one. Like the concealment caddy. I love this thing. I don't know why this it just never really took out. We sold a bunch, in the back, you can get belt loops or you can get Molly, a flashlight, a Leatherman tool, or your magazines on the side, first aid, survival tin, whatever, right there on your waistline. I mean, you're like, freaking Batman or, God dang it. This is the way. Why can't I think of that all of a sudden? Well, I guess because that show went to shit too. The Mandalorian, God, everything good has been going to shit this last year. What the hell, Disney? The hell, man. But anyway, yeah. So tell me what you think. I have no idea why. The concealment caddy. Now, this is one of mine. And this is the one I'm not using right now. I use my Ranger Green Coyote Brown, but I pulled this off because I've been experimenting with concealed carry. But now I'm going to go back to my shoulder holster because it's winter time. And, you got so many layers of clothes, it's easier to come in this way than to try to fight through 2 or 3 layers this way. But now that that's the case, I'll go back to having one on each side, the left and the right. And you think about it, that literally is your shoot, move, communicate, medicate. I mean, like that's 2 pistol magazines. Like one of those pouches could be 2 pistol mags and a pretty decent, like either small, GSW gunshot wound or IFAK or blowout kit, or just boo-boos. And then the other one is a flashlight, which you should always have, a knife or a Leatherman, which you should always have. And then that other pouch is maybe an emergency fire kit or it's lickies and chewies, Dan, that kind of stuff, or it's your never want to be without meds if you're like me and now you're stuck on meds for the rest of your life type of thing. So yeah, I don't know why. Product didn't go anywhere. I mean, again, we sold some of them. Matter of fact, Gene, yeah, I haven't looked at the comments here. Gene, you have one of them, don't you? Well, here, let me just pull the comments. Even in the UK, we did it to ourselves. No one else to blame. However, we can and should change it. That's what we've got to do in 2025. Gene, I'm not a big New Year's resolution guy, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, I knew you had one right there. Now Gene came in. Yeah, always in use weekly. Yeah, thank you, Gene. Yeah, so I don't know why, but that was like, so in the bad section of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, I don't know what happened. That product, it was just like, you're coming in on your P51 Mustang, you're thinking you're all badass, and all of a sudden it's like, whamp, 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 whamp. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so Dan, that's the ultimate. Here we go. I see what he's saying. Okay, we'll do this. A mother with a mud flap and a G roll on the bottom. That's the ultimate carry. That is a pretty award-winning, that's a lot of gear over the shoulder. Yeah, well, that's why we made it, Dan. So thank you. Dan is not a paid contestant on tonight's live stream. Dan just said that, but he ain't wrong, boys and girls. He ain't wrong. All right, here we go. Continuing with like the bad of 2024, kind of doing product flops. Now this one, I'm not going to lie. I kind of wasn't sure how it was going to go. Now I've got mine kind of rigged up with shoulder straps. So it's kind of all set up a certain way because, I have it in the vehicle with pouches on it, but this was our mobility panel and, you can open up from the sides. You can get notebooks in here, flotation devices, your laptop can go in here. whatever you want to put in here. So it's plug and play. You know, I have mine attached. Well, I did 2024 can suck it. Like I said, around the back of my truck, my driver's side seat of my truck. So then if anything would have ever happened, because again, I live out in the country, it's northern Minnesota, you know, shit happens. I could just pull that off. And that's what I had, you know, like this. And I've got 2 different shoulder strap systems, how I could do it, but you know, one with a padded strap wrap. And then I've got my mandatory minimum, you know, get home type of thing, but it's very organized and I don't have to have a rucksack. Now this one I was a little bit unsure of, not going to lie, because there's just so many of those throw them on the back of your car seat companies out there, and it's all cheap and made in China, you know, and it's all like, you know, $50 for that, you know, like you can't even do $50 of labor, you know, let alone $50 labor, material, shipping it from China to America. I mean, does anybody ever just really think about that? So maybe that's kind of the ugly, you know, like I'm getting a little ugly because I'm kind of getting tired of like, oh my God. I'm like, go to work tomorrow. Go to work tomorrow. I used to say, go to work tomorrow. You make $100 a day. Tell your boss you only want to make $10 a day. Cindy pointed out I have it all wrong. Or maybe it was somebody else. Somebody pointed out I had it wrong. It's go to work tomorrow and have everybody else in your workplace has been replaced by individuals who are willing to do your job and they're willing to do it for 10% of what you make. See what I'm getting at? You're like, yeah, you know, people, we need to start thinking about so much shit as a people. You know, oh, Mark's gear is expensive. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not. If you think it's expensive, quit your job and come to, I got a job for you. Come to work with me. It'll be days and you'll be like, this is bullshit. And I'm like, yeah. We're competing with every buying cheap ass shit from China for $50. You think that business, do you think it only cost them it cost them $45 to make it and ship it, and they're only making $5 a unit? No way. No way. It's not how businesses work, boys and girls. Think about how cheap the material and, more importantly, the labor that went into that product you just bought, that then got on a sea land container, went all the way across from China, you know, to America, and then distributed from whatever port of entry to wherever you just purchased it. Man, that's just, I mean, that's like insane. That's just crazy to me, but that's kind of, yeah. Anyway, so the MMP, I knew I was competing in a market where there was a ton, probably an oversaturation of that kind of cheap ass stuff out there, you know, everywhere. You guys all know what I'm talking about. You've seen a million of them. $75. That's almost exactly how much the material would cost. I mean, like, anyway, so, but that one didn't go very well. That kind of flopped. I kind of figured it might, just simply because, like I said, the market. Okay, let me just come up here. Then I'll do my next flop. Quest Views is adding. Okay, to Dan's point, you know, the mud flap, the gear roll, and you do you. Quest Views is saying add a padded strap wrap to the mother. You know, it is a little bit more weight. So, yep. And then I got Phil saying, I don't think Marl looking at the X chat today. Not sure what that means. Phil, give us a little bit more. I don't think Mark was looking at the X chat today. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe that was just a typo. Phil, try that again. Not quite sure. Jeremy in the house. Holy crap, boys and girls. Everybody take your hat off, say hello. And our guest for tomorrow night has joined us in tonight's live stream. That is Redbeard right there saying the caddy is awesome. Why, thank you, Redbeard, for coming on over here. And then he added, hey, brother, what up? Yep, you got it. You got it. Hey, nice to see you over here, my good man. Guess you're getting your pregame on for tomorrow night. I know Jeremy is just chomping. See, that's why he's over here watching tonight. He just wants it to be tomorrow night's episode. I know he's got some shit to talk about. So, you know, strap in. I'm going to have to really try to contain and control him, I think, a little bit. Yeah, AVV, you're absolutely right. I could compete with China if I had slave labor. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that's what it is. But, you know, that's just the other part of what have we done to ourselves? How have we just gone so far off the path, you know, and just become so mean and angry and bitter towards one another, you know? The same person who will piss and moan about, well, that's $100. would never, you know where I'm getting at. I see that there. That's something I have to do better this year too. I get very conscious, self-conscious about that. I'm a business owner. I'm not supposed to talk about that kind of stuff, but I'm a human being, and I used to think I have big shoulders till I came into this business. And then it's like, man, we're putting our hearts and soul into this shit. And here's somebody pissing and moaning. I'm like, yeah, but you're comparing like a Ferrari with not even a Yugo, like with a fucking like a wheelbarrow. Like, go buy it from China if that's what you want to do. It is a technique. You'll be on your third or fourth one. They keep breaking, they keep ripping every time you look at them. You'll be on your fourth one, just like our belts. I've got a shit ton of customers. I just got a customer just now replacing a belt, like from so long ago, like from the very beginning of the company. Yeah. And I'm going to replace it, at a discounted price because they just have to get that buckle's expensive. I remember one time I had a guy's like, there it is. That's a drink. I think that's a drink. I touched my beard. But this was years ago when I was still doing shows, and a guy was talking. I won't say the name of the company, I never do, but he's like, yeah, this is my third one this year. And I'm like, how much do you pay? And he's like, well, these are like $65. So I'm like, so you just spent, 100, call it $200, and all, that's not including your shipping, and you're wasting your time and all that for, because you thought you were going to save $20 over my belt. Like, like, I'm like, so here, I'll give you one of my belts for 50% off if I can cut your belt in half right now. And I had a little crowd of people. It was kind of funny. His girlfriend thought it was funny anyway. So, yes, anyway, sorry. I digress. That it's what tonight's going to be. Gene, child or prison labor? Yes, sir. Jeremy, people say they're hurting. They'll drop an obscene amount of money on the most random shit, yet complain about pricing of quality made products. You're absolutely right. Or they'll complain about it as they continue to wear all those made in China things. Like, oh, I'm a patriot. Well, why is all your shit made in China? Why don't you support American businesses? Oh, that's too expensive. What about your job? Is that too expensive too? Maybe we should, Anyway, I'll get to that because it's really not anyone's fault. I mean, it's our fault for putting up with this shit, but it's really electing people who, this inflation in our national debt is out of control. I'll save that for a little bit later. Maybe I'll just save that for tomorrow. AVV is agreeing with Gene across the pond. Jeremy with a big smile. Yeah. Paul saying Happy New Year, Redbeard. Shh. Okay. Okay. You two guys have a love fest. There, Jeremy, I still have the very first belt you gave me 8 years ago and it still works. Jeremy knows that I want to actually get that belt from him at one point in time because I want to show the patina and how everything is just over the years what that belt looks like. What was that, Jeremy? Was that during the summer you showed it off to me? Yeah, it looks really freaking cool. It does. He's got some mileage on that thing and it looks badass. AVV can't understand why his son can't understand why he pays a bit more to buy from the local hardware store when it's cheaper on Amazon. Same thing here. I got one of my other favorite hoodies, Marshall Hardware. I'll go to that hardware store and pay, $5, $2.50, $10 more for an item as opposed to getting it from Amazon any day of the week. And it's probably the world's best hardware store, in my opinion. AVV, firearms, buy once, cry once. Questy says, we'll know Jeremy is a true Jedi when he crafts his own belt. Don't hold your breath on that. It was the summer, aged like a fine wine. All right, moving on. Okay, those are okay. Good comments. You guys are having fun in the chat. Touch my beard so I can double up. Actually, one of those touches was me using that. So you guys drink. The last of the flops. We're at 49 minutes. I think I'm going to just gloss over the other bads and the uglies and then end this on the goods. But let's just do the last kind of, if you want to call it a flop. I mean, I don't know. MMP, Concealment Caddy, I might put them back on the website this week. The SRDP is still on the website. Now, this one, I saved this for last because this is a little bit of the heartbreaker. I had a whole bunch of people asking me to make a Ruger 1022 takedown pouch. And then I did. And just another one, we sold some, it's a lot of I guess the thing though, just like anything, it becomes your baby. The time, the energy, the number of prototypes, the time we spent prototyping it, the time I spent trying to find people who had certain weapons platforms, making some of these and sending them out to people who had multiple weapons platforms. I wish I could go and buy those platforms, write it off as a business. Like, well, I needed those to see if it would fit in my new pouch. Yeah, I wasn't able to do it that way. But yeah, a lot of time and effort, and and maybe we'll see. Maybe it'll pick up, but shoulder strap carry, not carry, attach it to the outside of your rucksack, have it in the vehicle. Hang it. It fits all kinds of other things, not just a Ruger 1022. Go back and see those videos. But yeah, the 1022 pouch. Just the other product, the three, if I want to put three products in the what didn't really go over very well last year, it's those guys right there. And I guess I'm just doing that because I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts, again, on demand or in the chat. Just let me know, because look, sometimes you try it and some things are going to work and some things aren't going to work. And, you just don't know. Again, you don't know what you don't know. But, again, the mobility panel, yeah, I could see some people not really getting their head around that. Or again, there's cheap versions you can just get for behind your, if you're just going to have it over your, the back of your vehicle seat, your seat in the vehicle. But the concealment caddy and the SRDP, yeah, I kind of thought those things would do better than they did. Again, they didn't do bad, but yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. You got limited time, limited resources. That's always the thing. But honestly, on that note, I think what we're going to do, like I said, Sunday, or I'll probably just do it Monday. The prices are going to go up. I'll have the bundle. I'll have the next business day stuff off of the website. I'll do a standalone video on the bundling. And then I'm just going to take the weekend and kind of look at, do I put the burrito back on there? So the next business day is going to go away. I think we'll probably look at just, and I'll have the SRDP back on there too, even if they're not selling really great, maybe that'll start changing, with spring right around the corner. Well, for some of you, spring's around the corner. For for us, it might be 6 months from now. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right. So before I kind of kick it into the last little segment here, let me just catch up. I think we did Quest View. Well, that's where we left off. Yeah. No, we left off with Jeremy. All right. So we only have one other, a cool design mark. All right. Thanks there, Jeremy. Gotcha. All right. So now we're kind of caught up. So I'm just going to skim through the bad and the ugly, because I want to kind of come back and finish on the good. And we're already at 52 minutes. Here's the bad. I know this should be in the ugly, but I just a smart ass, so I'm just going to write as the bad. Almost getting into World War III. No bueno, not good. We can do without that. Even the threat of World War III, we can do without that in 2025. I hope we can all agree on that, right? The lingering after effects of COVID still trying to destroy society. People are still talking about COVID. People are, hey, you do you. You want to wear that mask that we all know. I mean, the moment we knew the size of the particulate, we knew it wasn't going to do anything. But hey, you do you. But that mentality, that mindset, and then the bad thing is people trying to memory hole and pigeonhole that your neighbors were beating you up in the grocery store if you didn't have a mask on, or if you got within 6 feet, and all that was bullshit and made up. And so the bad is, if we as a society, as we as a people, not just an American, as a human being, every one of us, if you're a human being on Terra, planet Earth, third rock from the sun, you have an inalienable right. Inalienable rights. Yeah, it's our Constitution, but we all know that applies to all humanity. And we had people who let that just bring out the ugly. Maybe that should have been on the ugly side. But it's also just, kind of meant to destroy small business. And we're still seeing some of those ripple effects, the whole supply chain, inflation, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, anyway, you get what I'm getting at. Well, then here, I mean, just another sad thing about that, it's created an environment where, like, y'all know I wanted to do hats this year. I'm not going to name that company. But, Clint, great guy, Nemesis. I love the Nemesis pattern. We had an opportunity for, Clint working with me and 2 other businesses to get these hats. And it's like the company didn't want to make the money. And I ended up talking to the guy once, and he's like, well, then I'm like, yeah, you'd have to do 3 separate invoices. If that's hard, then you can just bill me and then I'll invoice those guys and I'll, and I'll drop ship it. Well, but I'm just like, you don't want to make a sale here, do you? Call me up and talk to me about making, 500 hats. It'll be a sale before the end of the conversation, I guarantee. All right, I already kind of mentioned it. These are the bad things. I already said the gear flops: inflation, national debt, and more war. All right, we really gotta. That was bad stuff this year. We got to move away from it. The ugly, I'm just gonna only just say this. Because we kind of talked about the social turmoil that our politics and what we've done in society is bringing about. It's bringing out the worst in some people. It's bringing out the best in some people as well. But I, unfortunately, rose-colored glasses or glass half full, however you want to say it, I'm seeing a lot of people just really turning into total, canoes, bags of Richards. And we're not getting, that's not getting any better. If you didn't vote for who I voted for or who I wanted you to vote for, you're a Nazi, you're an evil person. I'm going to ban you from my life. I'm going to try to take your life. I'm going to try to, shut your business down. That's who we become. And that is not a good look. And the conversation I had just at the very beginning, right before I started, kind of ending on that. It's like, yeah, I'm not putting those rocks in my rucksack. Your voices, I don't have to listen to them. I'm not going to deal with them. Like, that's on you. If you're that evil person, if you think killing, if you think killing a healthcare CEO, if you don't like the healthcare system and you think killing that man somehow changes something or is justified, and if you don't even know why the healthcare system is in shambles, see there, I even gave you an excuse. No, you're talking about killing somebody because of something you don't like. Yeah, I'm not listening to those voices. I'm not carrying those rocks in my rucksack. That's incredibly ugly. And I will have nothing more to do with it anymore. Matter of fact, and I'm going to end it because there's a few more ugly things. We'll save those for tomorrow night. I'm sure Redbeard will get me all fired up and want to do it. The good, and here's what I'm going to end it on. You guys. And I mean that seriously. So I already kind of mentioned Jack, Black Scout Survival. Love doing business with him. Great human being. Love his customer base as well. You guys and gals who watch these live streams or these videos, the few of you that get to see them, depending on, whether ScrewTube lets people see it or not, that's what makes it great. I'll tell the story, next week when I go over the Edo loadout, but just the gentleman I just spoke to today, just talking about the everyday organizer and something we were doing. I mean, I absolutely love it. You guys and gals are all great people to talk to. Matter of fact, the bad is if I call too late in the day for customer phone calls, it's, you're like just a half second away from God dang it. Well, why don't we just have a beer and talk for the next 30 minutes? You're just great people. And I absolutely love it. So I mean it very seriously. The best part about 2024 was working with you guys, working with Jack, working with Clint from Nemesis Camo, working with the Murph and those we did the charity auctions with, having the guys who are here watching right now who've come on as guests, and all the people who've come on as guests for whether it's the loadouts or whether it's CLS After Dark. And by the way, that's an open invitation, to anybody. You want to come on? There's a thing that you have. Hey, I'd like to be a guest on a loadout live about this because I want to show off my mother. That happened over in the CLS Gear chat on Telegram today. Somebody, I think you're watching right now. I hope you're still watching, but did a big loadout and shared their loadout with everybody. I love that kind of stuff. You guys and gals are what makes this awesome. I'm never going to make a lot of money doing this. That's just, it's not that industry. I don't care. I want to be able to provide quality people, quality products, working with other quality companies that, make and help me with those products, working with other quality people who believe in craftsmanship and pride in making that product. And then we get it out to you. Hey, look, if I can get 2 hunting trips a year, or even just 1 hunting trip, by hunting trip, I mean, okay, I'm going to take 3 days off and I'm going to actually go bow hunting for 3 days. And if I get my deer in day, like that, I'm not a complicated guy. I know it might seem otherwise, but I got pretty simple taste, pretty easy things. I love what I'm doing, and you guys and gals make it that way. Now, just on a last little tweak, and you can see me smiling, I'm a smart ass. There's going to be some more smart assery though this year. I don't want to give it away too much, too soon. But there are some people who've just, like, they're pulling shenanigans. You kind of see, I can see what they're trying to do. And it's just like, so we'll just see how that, but it's you guys and gals that make this really work. It's, everybody who helps me. It's everybody who I do business with. It's the other people I talk to and I do business with. It's the other small business owners who are out there and we're talking about each other's products or sharing stuff. That's the awesomeness. That was good for 2024. So I really like that right there. Here we go. Let me just try to see. Okay. Last thing, we'll just end it on comments. Questview burrito, perfect for a cook set or overbuilt for a sleeping bag. Cook set. Yep. Burrito. I'll end up having to do another video on that. Yep. That's probably going to come back. Questviews. AVView. Do you get government contracts or is it's not inappropriate? I've done contract work a handful of times for some law enforcement organizations, federal and state, and for the Forest Service. And I did miss out on a military kind of contract, and that may have been, that was years ago. And I think I was just probably being a little stupid. I mean, like, they wanted the webbing in all multicam, and I wasn't running multicam webbing at that time, and which is really expensive. And I should have just basically said, like, that would have cost me like $600 just to get the 2 rolls of webbing they would have needed to do what they wanted. And, I hate to say this, but they wouldn't have probably, like, I can't just buy that and then just sit on it. So it either would have had to have been built into the cost, or I would have had to done something different. And I should have done that. But yeah, I get them. It's not very fun though. I'll say this, the government's the government. And, I had one person from one entity who just used their Impress card and just made the purchase. And then they, and then afterwards when their accountant was like, what, that's not how we do it. He's just like, he dealt with it, which I appreciated. Like, but other places and, where it's like, you do all the work and put it forward and then you don't get paid for another 90 days. And that can be, to your point, that can be a pain in the ass. It definitely can be. I mean, you're just sitting there like, okay, I'm out $5,000. Maybe I'll get paid one day. I know big businesses do that, but I'm small. So, I mean, I can't, you just think about it. I can't afford to take 2 weeks off for you and not get paid for 3 months. I mean, that's tough as a small business. Or maybe I'm just doing it wrong. Dan, the burrito would mount nicely on the ruck. One on either side. I mean, that's a lot of gear right there, to tell the truth. Jeremy, congratulations to everyone for making it one more day without total nuclear annihilation. Yes, that is a good day right there, Redbeard. He's saying Jeremy's New Year's resolution is to stock up on potassium iodide pills. He's saying he's already on top of it. And then maybe it'll come up. He is actually saying ivermectin does work. He knows firsthand. And then he's saying tomorrow's going to be spicy. I don't know why he's telling me that. He should be telling you guys. I know he's going to get spicy. Learn me some seconding the ivermectin. Dan, the order confirmation email, the phone call, the delivery, seconded on. Well, thank you, sir. The confirmation emails come from the website, but you guys know the deal. I'm calling everybody, checking up on stuff. Dan said something, and I immediately went and looked it up today. And and just to be honest, I mean, if you're anyone out there, and I probably need to reach out to one of these guys, but Canada went through a strike. Their postal thing went on a strike. So there was a period of time where I couldn't even ship to Canada. So depending on I shipped it to you just before the strike, and and I've actually got to figure out if that strike is now over or if that's ongoing, because I actually have a few Canadian customers. As a matter of fact, I'll probably just ping those guys when I do phone calls next week to find out what's going on over there with Canada Post. Gene, but you will make great friends and get a lot of love from us loons. Yeah, money is not our God, Gene, and that's what makes you you, sir. That's exactly it, right? Money is not my God. Ground fog with a big clap. All right, boys and girls, an hour. That's the closest to making the time hack I think I've ever done in one of these live streams. Maybe that bodes well for 2025. I don't know. Oh, last kind of comment. Oh, I just saw it as I kind of, I got all this stuff set up in front of me. The hoodies, man, that was maybe one of the other flops. And I've talked to 1 or 2 people, and maybe we need to tweak the design. I was going to donate the proceeds. we've sold 4 hoodies. Like this actually isn't even a flop. This is like, thank God I didn't have like an inventory. This was an absolute disaster on the hoodies. And I don't know why. These things are freaking warm as hell, comfortable as hell. Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there in the hoodies. Maybe I didn't advertise that well enough. Some people said maybe it's the design. So I'm going to sit and try to figure that out and maybe look at tweaking the designs. Like, because on this one on the back side, there's a handgun for the shoot, move, communicate, mitigate. Maybe we just get rid of that and just do this design. Yeah, I don't know. So just stay tuned on that. But yeah, hoodies, I apologize. And no offense. I mean, there's people in North Carolina who still without homes, still without, I mean, like, you know, they're living in tents, they're living in, you know, shelters, they're having problems with propane. I was really kind of hoping we, you know, would have raised, you know, a couple $100. We didn't. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'll just give it to Blackbeard for helping me set it up. I mean, you know, we all could use the money too. And I'm not trying to downplay it, but, you know, I mean, every penny probably does help, but, you know, fuck, $40. I mean, it's going to cost more in the fees, the electronic processing for that. You know, it's not, you know, just anyway, I don't want to end it on a bad note, but hoodies, stay tuned. That'll be something for this year, 2025. Yeah. I guess I should have thrown that in the flops. I'm wearing one, but I got mine. So I'm happy as a, you know, bearing a rug or ticking a rug, whatever that saying is. All right. Join us tomorrow night, 1800 Central. That's the bad. Also, I don't like the 1800 Central. You know, leave me a comment on that. I kind of like the 17. I'm getting too old. You know, I'm like, it's already 1900 and I'm already past my bedtime. So, you know, I kind of like the earlier ones, but we'll keep it 1800 Central. As long as Elon Musk, Doge, and Trump get rid of daylight savings, then I'll keep it at 1800. So we'll make a deal. If they get rid of daylight savings time, then we'll keep this at 1800. That'll be that's a fair compromise. I'll tap into my, I'm old and I should be getting dinner and going to bed. I'll tap into that time to not have to live my life on fake time for 9 months out of the year, whatever they've turned it into. Yeah, there. How's that for an ending right there? All right, we'll see you tomorrow. We got Rick, Patrick, and Redbeard. He's over here in the chat. We're going to talk about why are we still in NATO and just revisit that conversation. You know, having a couple adult beverage. Revisit that why are we still in NATO conversation. That'll be tomorrow night. Oh, I should have done this. I don't have my notebook in front of me. Next week, our live stream for Thursday, it's going to be a load up with the Everyday Organizer. I will have that standalone video this weekend on the, I'm calling it the 2024 Bundaroo. That's what I'm calling it, the Bundaroo. And, but I'll have that video up over the weekend on how I'm going to bundle things. And, you know, I don't even know if I'm going to do prices. You know the deal. If you come call me up and tell me a good joke, I might even make you an even sweeter deal. All right. Jeremy's saying he can't wait to see everybody tomorrow night. Gene, it's 1 a.m. in the AK. Oh, Gene, you are a diehard. And then Jeremy's telling you it's going to be a banger, Gene. So we'll see you tomorrow. Maybe you need to get a little bit more of that Jim Beam or whatever that was that it mentioned Johnny Walker. All right. And I am going to comb my beard every other minute tomorrow because Dan just turned that into a drinking game. Andrew, nice to see you there, sir. Yeah. Okay. New bottle for tomorrow. Yep. There you go. All right, boys and girls, you know the deal. If you got questions, comments, reach out. That's what I'm here for. I'll do the best I can to help you out. I hope we see you tomorrow at CLS After Dark, 1800. If you got questions, comments about any of the gear, anything that we covered tonight, you know, just ping me. That's what I'm here for. And until then, keep thinking, keep moving. Get it ready, Gene. Keep thinking, keep moving, never quit. All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night or we'll see you next week. Yeah, you do you. All right. Be good. Woo! Did I end it? No. Are we still live? The hell just happened there? Hey, good thing I didn't start picking my nose or burping. I thought I ended the stream. It's saying we're still live. I don't know how that's possible.